Overhead rates in Oracle Cloud. Hi, I'm Linus, and in today's video you will learn what overhead rates are in Oracle Cloud's cost accounting, how they are created, and how they fit into the overall cost accounting process. So let's get right into it. First, what are overhead rates in Oracle Cloud ERP? Overhead rates are used to absorb factory costs into the WIP NFG inventory value, or work in process and finished goods inventory value. Overhead rates are used to absorb the cost that is not directly related to the finished good creation or the manufacturing process, and therefore not included in the resource rates that we covered in the previous video. Second, what different types of overhead rates can be created or used within Oracle Cloud ERP? First, we have the planned overhead. Planned overhead are costs that are associated with the whole manufacturing plant / factory. For example, it could be water or electricity. And second, we have the more granular work center overhead. Work centers are parts of a manufacturing plant that we track individually. And here we have costs that occur specific to this individual work center. Here is also where we track the overhead cost that is associated with our resource rates that we covered in the last video, where we had labor resource rates and equipment resource rates. So where, for example, I pay a person $50, I can also say I want to track some additional cost for the uniform, etc. And for equipment overhead, for example, I say I have this machine that is directly in the production process. So it is a resource. I track it as a resource rate, but also it needs cooling liquid, special tools. Somebody has to check it twice a year, stuff like that. And this is what we're going to track here as the work center equipment overhead rate. So everything indirect that comes on top of our direct cost. Third, who creates or helps create overhead rates within Oracle Cloud ERP? This is a little bit different than in resource rates. The overhead rates are not created in manufacturing. They are directly created in cost accounting by the cost accountant. Fourth, how are overhead rates created in Oracle Cloud ERP? This is just one step less than in the resource rates. First, you create the overhead rate inside of a cost scenario, and then this cost scenario gets published / you update the standard cost for this cost scenario. Fifth, when are resource rates used in Oracle Cloud ERP? Well, as we covered in the last video, we have this concept of a standard cost roll-up, where we take multiple costs to roll them up into the cost of a finished good. In this cost roll-up, we look at resource rates, we look at material cost, and then we also look at the overhead rates that we talked about right now. If you want to see how all of this comes into action, and if you want to learn how to actually perform this standard cost roll-up yourself, defining all the rates and everything, then check out this completely free cost accounting course here on paname.com. And if you need my personal help, then just feel free to reach out to me directly using the link below.